Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. I don't know about this episode. It wasn't terrible, okay? It wasn't like GH last week. It wasn't just bad and boring. But I had my issues. Some stuff kind of felt like it was on replay a little bit, and I'll tell you why. So we'll start off with Deacon and Sheila. Hope. Hope is asking a bunch of questions to, she's calling herself Linda now. And after a while, Deacon's like, all right, yeah, you know what, it's kind of late. And she was like, oh, yeah, it seems like, I kind of barged in on a bad time, but, we'll do it another time. And she leaves. Deacon is freaking out, okay? Which, in all reality, Sheila was right. It's like, yo, you made the situation look a lot worse. You tried to rush your daughter out. You didn't give me a chance to sit there and really speak to her. And for the most part, besides the whole scissors part, um, she seemed like she had everything under control. But when Deacon kind of forced her out, and he's freaking out, he was like, "Oh, you look like she thought that you looked familiar." Okay, well, I mean, unless you can sit there and see through the mask, I don't. In all reality, I don't even understand how she was at. How she was there saying like, "You seem like you're familiar. You look like you're familiar." I was like, where from? Now I know. Yeah, his answer could be Sheila, but Sheila and that woman don't look anything alike. They don't even look anything close alike. Um, so in all reality, I don't think that Deacon should be freaking out as much as he is. I mean, let's be very clear, because at that point he was like, "Oh, you gotta leave." I was like, "Bro, we're doing this again? Really? Now she has to leave? What about the other times where she was supposed to leave? What about the time that Baker came in there and was like, "Hey, we want to sit there and check to make sure you don't know what Sheila is." What about that time? And I think that's kind of the problem. It's like he's been whining, complaining, and bitching ever since he made that bad decision that he made. And it's like, I don't know. It's weird. As an audience member, sitting there watching him complain about the same thing over and over again, it's like, bro, listen. Deacon so far is my favorite character in this show. And I'm like, bro, you are wearing my patience very thin. Um, but of course, nothing comes from it. And she was like, it's going to be fine. You need to calm down. You need to rein it in. So she was like, listen, let's just, take a shower and just kind of release some of that tension. She, walks towards the shower. And Deacon's just like he know that he made a huge mistake. I'm like, bro, you already made the mistake. You might as well just get past it. All right, you know what you should be doing. All right, just take one foot in front of the other. You know what you got to do. Because all this worrying and everything like that. Even Sheila, when she touched his chest, she was like, "Yo, this ain't good for your heart, babe. Like how old are you? You don't want to be sitting there having this much stress. You might want to, I don't know, do something because that ain't working." Hell, even Sheila was like, after all, like, "Yo, this whole whiny, panicky version of you is not really working." Like, damn, I don't know what Mike Barnes would have did instead. Pretty sure Mike Barnes would have did something a lot different. Just saying. Um, Zende just came in for a paycheck like usual at this point. I don't even really see a purpose in this character anymore. I don't know what's going on with Paris. I haven't seen her in a couple of days. Rumor has it from somebody in the chat was basically saying in the comment section was saying that she may be moving over to General City. So, but to be fair, if they can make the character somewhat confident and kind of not make her as bad as she is on this show, like I mean, they did wonders for Sally. So I'm like, all right, I'm with it. So yeah, he came in for a paycheck. Now I'm gonna be honest, the level of non-animosity that he has with Carter just seems so. I know it's a soap opera, so certain things on the fantasy side, I'm like, bro, you're not even a little bit upset with him? I mean, first of all, he was going behind your back, and even though that she said that, she didn't want to be exclusive, it still felt like it was kind of a betrayal. So he's going behind your back, doing God knows what with um this woman that you're dating, lying straight to your face, and then at the wedding, he shatters her heart in a million pieces. And the only thing that winds up happening is Carter comes in there, he starts kissing on Quinn, and Zenny's like, "Oh, you two are so in love," or you something along those lines. Like you really cheering them on. I'm like, really, bro? So y'all just cool with everything? You just cool with all the decisions, all the things you were doing so far? What the hell are you in here for? Again, paycheck, but still. I mean, even a little animosity, being like, because he still cares about Paris, even though that, he knows that nothing's going to come from it. Like, you can't even sit there and be like, really, this how you gonna sit there and do my girl like that? You're just gonna sit there and just break her heart and then come into work the next couple of days and start kissing on Quinn and act like everything is cool and dandy. Like, nothing? Nothing from this guy. Just, okay. All right, I'll see you two lovebirds later. And it's just like, remember on GA State, people seemed like they wanted a bit of animosity between Sean and Curtis. And that didn't happen. And some people was like, oh, they're afraid of conflict or whatever. I don't remember who it was, but somebody was like, they're afraid of this was like a commentator. I don't remember who it was. But, she was like, oh, they're afraid of conflict. And I was just like, there's really no need for that conflict. I didn't see a need for that conflict. This, on the other hand, nothing. Just nothing. Now, Brooke and Liam are just kind of hanging out at the place and talking about Douglas. And Ridge walks in, and Ridge is like, "Oh, well, Thomas is Douglas' son." Okay, I think we all know that, but we didn't need to have you just walk on in and just kind of remind us like we just got in the first 5 seconds of our lives. Like, come on, bro. So eventually, well, at some point, Hope does get there. But before Hope gets there, Ridge does what Ridge does best. One of his many qualities, acting like a dick. Okay. Starts off with Deacon. Oh, Deacon's this, Deacon's that. Deacon's gonna sit there and disappoint Hope. Blah 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 blah. The usual stuff. Hope gets there. Hope tells everyone about the new lady that's in Deacon's life, and she didn't really have that much information. Brooke was like, "Oh, you didn't really get anything out of her." And Ridge was like, "Oh, so was he lying to you or something like that?" I was like, "Bro, shouldn't you be happy that he's with somebody else and he's not quote unquote sniffing around your wife?" Which is amazing because he remembers that it's his wife when somebody else starts paying attention. But when he's with Taylor, I guess he just kind of forgets about, vows and he's married and a ring on his finger. All that just goes out the window. Then Deacon comes around, oh, that's my wife. You can't do that to my wife. The wife that I just remembered now, not like when I was hanging at the party all over Taylor. Sometimes the jokes just write himself. I don't even really have to sit there and try that hard. That's the sad part. Now I just sit there and do this again. Um, yeah, Quinn and Carter didn't really do anything. They just exchanged cringeworthy lines and it didn't really go anywhere. It's going to be interesting seeing what's going to wind up happening because, as everyone knows, the actors left. I'm thinking they're just going to sit there and recast. I'm thinking they're going to recast because going through all that work to get those two together, just for her to leave, nah. This ain't sitting right with anyone. Damn sure shouldn't sit right with the people that like Carter and he's found his romantic love interest at the kicking Paris to the curve. You know, the woman that he treated like a chew toy that he just got bored with. Because let's be honest, that's literally what it was. He was all into Paris, and then I can't fucking fit. I can't do Carter's voice. If I do, I'm gonna start laughing, and then I'm probably just not gonna stop. But he was all like. Then he just suddenly, became immersed, and how was her name? Quinn again. I mean, granted, he never really stopped, but he used her as some sort of substitute, which is that's terrible. I don't even like Paris like that, and that's terrible. You know, there's a bright side to not really Smithia seeing Paris. Does anyone want to guess what that is? I just want to take a wild guess to the bright side and not Smithia seeing Paris. Yeah, that's it. We don't have to sit there and see Grace. I think that's her name. Now she goes to Genoa City. Can we just leave her mother behind? I mean, there's no point of her following her daughter all the way over there. There's just no. I mean, sometimes the show is boring, but I don't need to sit there and be annoyed. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't really think of anything else that happened that was really pertinent to the episode. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see everyone in the next